Hello, my name is Mengyuan Li. The case of our group is Food Court Corporation on page 262 of the book. Now I'm going to give you a brief introduction to the lecture outline and the accompanying process of case analysis. First of all, this is the outline of our group's presentation. We will introduce the analysis case from 4 parts. The first part is to start with a brief introduction of the FCI's process, so that we can easily and quickly understand the business process of FCI and the clients it is facing. The second part is to make the company's sales process into a chart, so as to fill the FCI's process information more intuitively and clearly. The third part is based on the correct situation of FCI to analyze its internal cultural threats, and we act as a consulting company to provide suggestions and solutions according to its threats, so as to solve the FCI's problem. The first part is to summarize the case through the analysis of each part before. Now I will give you a brief introduction to the FCI's process. FCI provide college students with a meal plan by selling a fixed amount of debit card to students through an online store and several locations close to the university that can buy food and at more than 50 local restaurants. The first is the correct online sales process. Customers use valid credit card purchase amount. After successful purchase, the software will send the data to FCI in encrypted form, and the transaction will be completed after the accountant searches the transaction. For online transactions, accountant manually copy down the credit card number and then enter the credit card number and the amount on the credit card machine. If the verification is successful, the payment will be deducted. The accountant will write down the verification code and enter it on the host computer, and then put the transaction receipt into the field. And if it is purchased offline, the accountant swipes the card directly and check the validity and charges, and then write down the verification code and enter it into the host.
Hello everyone, my name is Shuang Li. I'm an employee of the satellite consulting company. In this case, I'm responsible for analyzing the sales process of the FCI through the flowchart. Thank you. Thanks for Mengyuan Li presentation. Now I'm going to analyze the FCI sales process through the flowchart. There are 3 parts. One is get online transactions. The next one is process online transactions. The last one is offline sales process. Let's begin to the first part. The first step is the car order screen asks for credit card number and amount. Then go down to the next part, which is system verifies credit card number to make a decision. If the number is not valid, the software displays an error message to the customer and then return to the beginning. If the number is valid, the next process, which is the system send data to the host computer and then the accountant retrieves transactions from the server. This part is finished. Let's go to the next part. I'm gonna to analyze the transactions process of SCI. After the accountant retrieves transactions, the accountant then manually copies down the credit card number on paper and put the number, amount, and address on the credit card machine. Then the software checks to see the card number. If the card is not valid, it will reject the purchase. If the card is valid, it will charge it for the amount. The accountant then gets the validation and writes it down. At the same time, enter the number to the host computer. After that, the accountant prints a receipt and put it in the file. Finally, the customer database reflects the new customer. The online transaction process is finished. The last one is offline transaction flowchart. At first, the accountants write the card, and then the system verifies the credit card number. If the number is not valid, it will decline the purchase. If the number is valid, it will charge it for amount. The accountant then gets the validation number and writes it down, enter it in the host computer, and then finish. Thank you.
Hello everyone, I'm Jessie from the Satellite Consulting Company. Shuang introduced the flowchart for us, and then I will talk about the risk in this case and the solutions to that. For the risk part, first, after the customer enters the credit card number and the amount to purchase, the software will only check the validation of the card number, but it will not confirm the purchase amount. So we think there's a risk that the customer may input the wrong purchase amount and then pay for the wrong amount. Secondly, the case that after software check the validation of the credit card number, the accountant will write down the validation number and return to the host computer and then enters it. So there is a risk that the accountant may write down a wrong number or key in a wrong number, like missing a number or messing up the order of the number. And third, the case that the accountant prints a receipt and put in the file. So we think there is a risk that the accountant may forget to record the transaction in the journal entry. And the printed receipt paper may be lost if the accountant is not careful. So this is also a risk. Finally, the last paragraph of the case said there's a risk that the credit card or the number may be stolen. So based on the risk, we come up some solutions to reduce the risk. First, we may use confirmation mechanism. We may require the customer to double check whether they have input the right purchase amount and then click confirm. We should also require the accountant to confirm they key in the right number. Or we may use edit tests of length to avoid missing a number. Secondly, receipts should be kept in both electronic and paper versions. In this way, the risk of losing the receipt may be reduced. Third, we should enhance the security to avoid the theft, both in physical security and logical security. We may use multi-factor authentication to limit the access, like we may use the password, the voice, and facial recognition, the fingerprint, and something like that. Finally, there's an alternative to purchase the credit card software in the case. The software could interact with the accounting software, and the recording and transcription of data could be electronic. So in this way, some of the risk could be reduced. That is all about my part. And then Richard will talk about our final decision about to buy the software or not to buy.
Hello, My name is Richard Covarrubias, and I will be in charge of the wrap-up portion of the presentation. Basically, what I'm going to be doing is telling you what we have already told you, as well as telling you the decision we came up with in order for Food Court Inc. to combat the weaknesses we discovered in their transaction cycle through the flowcharts we created. To begin with, a brief reminder as to what Food Court Inc. is. They are a business in Boston, Massachusetts that offers meal plans to college students. Students or their families can buy debit cards with fixed amounts they can use to purchase food at more than 50 local restaurants. They can purchase these cards from one of two ways. One way is online, which basically entails going to a website using their phone, laptop, computer, etc., and entering their credit card number as long as the purchase amount in order to get the card. The second option is offline. You can do that at several locations near major college campuses, where you basically swipe your card and get the debit card there. Now, while we were creating these flowcharts, we broke it up into basically two different sections. The first section is the online portion, which basically details the customer part as well as the accountant part as to what they do. The second portion is offline transactions, which basically documents what happens when a customer swipes their card and what the accountant has to do in that scenario. While creating these flowcharts, we discovered a few risks, as well as thought of a few solutions we could use in order to combat these risks, which will allow us to mitigate, if not completely erase these risks. And the risks we came up with were the accountant could copy down the wrong credit card number, the accountant could forget to record the transaction, the receipt could get lost, and the credit card or number itself is stolen. Now, some methods we came up with to solve this, or solutions, is a confirmation mechanism. The receipt should be kept in both electronic and paper versions, or we should purchase the credit card software. A quick reminder as to what the credit card software is. It would cost about $700, and it would reside in the host computer and interact with their accounting software. It would also increase the rates by about 0.75% because cards could no longer directly be swiped, which would make a huge dent in the profits because half of sales are done through offline transactions, which require swipes. The solutions we've chosen for Food Court Inc. is using the confirmation mechanism, which will basically pop up after a credit card number is entered, basically confirming that the credit card number you entered is in fact the correct credit card number, and also keeping receipts both online and offline sequentially in order to document any missing receipts, such as purposely lost or accidentally lost, as well as help identify whose credit card number is stolen and who was in charge of that transaction by keeping safe the last 4 digits of the credit card number on that receipt. By doing these, we believe Food Court Inc. can minimize any errors and also maintain their current level of profits, if not increase it, while increasing the security as well. Thank you.